Behold, a tale from the land of Japan where a multitude of 200,000 ninja do dwell. Though they appear as common folk, their lives are wrought with peril and secrecy. A certain Suzuki, a ninja of humble station, liveth amongst the townsfolk as an editor for a magazine. Suddenly a message doth arrive. Without delay, she bids farewell to her rider and makes haste towards a bridge. Arriving there, she spies a man of Russian origin, a hunter of ninja. It is this very man whom Suzuki hath been charged to eliminate. The man unleashes his pistol upon Suzuki, but she dodges the shot and retaliates with her heel, which in an instant doth transform into two sharpened daggers. The man, by some stroke of fortune, doth save himself and continues to fire upon her. Yet Suzuki, with great skill, evades his shots and casts several ninja stars towards him before coming from behind to deliver a swift kick to his jewels. The man, however, doth not yield. When Suzuki strikes him with her electrified staff, it hath no effect, and he doth cast her to the ground. At a distance another ninja observes the skirmish. His name is Kato, a ninja of high rank. Just as he is about to shoot the man, a toothpick doth land in his arm. Turning to look, he sees a young lad running towards him. This too is a ninja by the name of Kurou. With great ease, Kurou vanquishes the Russian, ending the fight with a chokehold. He then speaks to Suzuki, saying, "I shall take my leave. You may handle the rest." Suzuki is astonished, and in her mind, she questions, "What manner of man is this? Why would he yield his own victory to another?" Kurou replies, "I have no desire for further toil. I am returning home to rest." Though a most excellent ninja, Kurou was also exceedingly lazy. He then departs in silence. At this time, he resides in a humble, worn-down dwelling. Alone and bored within his house, he doth pass the hours practicing the art of launching toothpicks, like arrows, with a puff of air. Suddenly, without a sound, a figure enters his chamber. It is his senior, Kato, who hath come to entrust him with a mission. After the Great War, some malevolent ninja did band together to form a perilous group, known as the Underground Ninja. According to intelligence, they have infiltrated and seized control of Juten High School. This school is built upon a unique site, where once stood the ruined military academy of Netano, and where secrets from the time of war still lie hidden. Kurou's mission is to go undercover and uncover their scheme. To aid him in his quest, Kato bestows upon him a special suit that renders him invisible. However, this suit only works on the surface. As Kurou is whiling away the time with the suit, he hears the voice of a female friend from the lavatory, who is in need of some paper. The paper is placed far from the commode. His friend warns him, "If you dare to look at me, I shall beat you without mercy." Heeding her words, Kurou ascends the wall and, without looking, reaches the paper by passing above her. But in the end, to hand her the paper, he turns towards her, and for this, he receives a slipper to the face. On the morrow, Kurou arrives at Juten High School. Upon learning he must take an entrance exam, he is sorely vexed. For a moment, he considers abandoning the mission altogether. But then, the dread of Kato consumes him. He begins to ponder how he shall pass the examination. With his weary yet charming countenance, Kurou soon draws the attention of Noguchi, a student who is retaking the exam. Entering the classroom, Kurou casts his gaze downward as he walks in a circle, then goes to sit beside Noguchi. He was certain that the organization had already prepared for his success. They had arranged a key of answers upon the floor using grains of colored rice. As Kurou begins to write the answers, Noguchi lets out a great shriek. She mistook the grains on the floor for insects. The teacher bids her to clean them if they bother her, but Kurou thinks, "I must do something." He deliberately drops his eraser, and as he retrieves it, he deftly launches a paper pellet from a straw at Noguchi. She cries out, "Someone just touched me!" She even accuses the teacher, calling him a perverted old man, to which the master replies, "My dear child, my arms are not so long." Amidst their fisticuffs, Kurou quickly begins to fill in one answer sheet after another. But before he could complete the mathematics paper, the teacher moves to console Noguchi, and in doing so, he steps upon the rice grains, scattering them. With no other recourse, Kurou resorts to histrionics. He feigns a wetting of himself right there in his seat. He then begins to weep, I was so afraid of the exam that I drank too much water by mistake." The teacher then comforts him, saying, "The exam is but a formality. Even if you hand in a blank sheet, you shall pass, understood?" Kurou wishes to gather more intelligence on the school, so as they depart, he waits for Noguchi, and they walk home together. When they reach his house first, Kurou says to her, "Come, visit my humble abode sometime." Noguchi hesitates for a moment, but agrees, and they both go to his rooftop. In their conversation, Noguchi reveals that there are some troublesome boys in their class who might harass him. "A friend of mine named Ida was so tormented by them that he no longer attends class," she laments. She also mentions that beneath their school lie many secret tunnels that lead to a special military base from the time of the Second World War. Kurou deduces that the underground ninja group may be based in this very location. As the sun begins to set, Noguchi states, "I must return home now." But suddenly she slips and falls from the rooftop. Before she can hit the ground, Kurou leaps and catches her. They land below and the safety feature of Kurou's suit activates, transforming into a cushion. Noguchi, with her mouth agape in a scream, faints, and Kurou carries her home. That very night, a mischievous lad attempts to fly his drone near the bathroom of his neighbor, Kawado. But he is unaware that Kurou, wearing his invisible suit, is seated nearby. With his special staff, he delivers an electric shock to the boy. This lad is, in fact, Noguchi's friend, Ida. Kurou bids him apologize to Kawado and then takes him to school the next day, saying, "Fear not, I shall protect you, but it will cost you 500 rupees each day." Upon arriving at school, the boys once more begin to harass Ida. But they have chosen a poor day for it, for Kurou is also there. Kurou, with his foot, grips Ida's leg and, with a violent thrust, causes him to attack the other boy. The boy cries out in pain. Ida has no idea what has just transpired, and Kurou goes to sit in the back row. As he hath brought no book, a girl named Sato sitting beside him offers him her own. Noguchi looks upon this scene with eyes of jealousy. Just then, a red light falls upon his face, a laser light. This is a signal used by ninja to communicate with one another. Kurou rises and departs the classroom. Upon the rooftop stands a lad named Shiyon. He is a high-ranking ninja. On the day Kurou vanquished the Russian, Shiyon was also present, but before he could join the fray, Kurou intervened. Like Kurou, he too is an undercover ninja at the school, tasked with identifying the members of the underground ninja group. Along with them, there is one more ninja hiding in plain sight, the school's discipline director. He asks Kurou to meet him in the boiler room after class, and then disappears. Just then, Kurou sees that Ida is once more in trouble. He makes his upper body invisible, dons a box over his head, and arrives on the scene. One of the boys kicks Kurou in an attempt to learn his identity, but instead, he falls down. Kurou first lays him low, then stands behind Ida and grips his hands. With Ida's hands, he delivers a mighty blow to the other boy, ensuring that Ida's name, not Kurou's, will be known at the school. After this, Kurou goes to the boiler room to meet the director. The director suddenly draws a sword from behind his back and attacks Kurou. Both of them mistook the other for a member of the underground ninja group. Kurou masterfully counters every strike from the director. When he realizes that the director is not affiliated with the group, he says, "Stand down. Our satellite has a lock on you. If I so wished, I could end you in a single second." But the director believes Kurou's words to be nonsense, for a ninja of such low standing could never have access to a satellite. But just then, a laser beam from the heavens strikes the director's sword, cleaving it in two. The director understands that he should not trifle with this one, and Kurou departs. Upon leaving, he sees the most popular girl in his class, Mitsuki, awaiting him. She smiles at Kurou in a most peculiar manner, and then, without a word, walks away. In a nearby shop, after a customer exits, the automatic door opens and closes on its own, as if an invisible entity has entered. Moments later, the shop's wares begin to fall to the floor. The woman in the shop, who is also a ninja, attempts to fight back, but this unseen man slays her. A missive arrived for Suzuki, bearing the grim tidings of her mentor's demise, a ninja of no small repute. Immediately, she too was assailed. Suzuki instantly comprehended that this assault was the handiwork of a member of the underground ninja group, for only they possessed a suit capable of rendering a person entirely invisible, whereas their own garb but halfway concealed the wearer. In the midst of this chaos, Sato, on her way home from school, was seized by the same assailant. Suzuki did issue a stern warning, bidding him not to harm any commoner. To this, the man did reply that her death was not to be found there but at Kodan High School. Meanwhile, Noguchi sat in her chamber, her thoughts consumed by Kurou. For days, she could not rid him from her mind, and she dreamt of a blissful life with him. Suddenly, in the dead of night, she espied Kurou sitting quietly beside her bed, staring. At her, Kurou informed her that the ninja working at the store had been slain, and he feared that the underground ninja gang was planning an attack upon the school. He spoke to Noguchi. "A great battle is about to erupt at our school. Do not come to school for a few days, understand?" Without another word, he leapt from the window and vanished. Following this, we see a man fleeing in a desperate rush as if his life were in peril. Suddenly, a ninja star pursued him and, finding an opportune moment, plunged into his leg, causing him to fall. This man is Saruta, who was once a ninja of Kurou's team, the Nin, but had since abandoned the group. The invisible man pursuing him asked, "Would you like to join the underground ninjas?" Saruta agreed in an instant, declaring, "I take great pleasure in slaying people. Tell me, who is the target?" It is revealed that the invisible ninja who was slaying all the others was none other than Saruta himself. The next morning, as a student was making his way to school, Saruta, in a single motion, severed his head from his body and took the corpse with him. Despite Kurou's warning, Noguchi went to the school in search of him. The school's director caught sight of her. In her panic, Noguchi confessed all, telling him that Kurou had informed her that the school was to be destroyed. The director understood that a battle was imminent. He gave Noguchi a ring and instructed her, "Give this to Kurou. Try to find him. It is of great importance." A short while later, Saruta arrived in the classroom with the student's headless body. He was still invisible, and suddenly the body dropped in the midst of the students. Chaos erupted in the classroom, and Saruta began to slay the students one by one. Some were able to escape the room, but Saruta was still in pursuit. Soon, Suzuki and Shiyon received word that an underground ninja was wreaking havoc at the school. Suzuki witnessed the bloodshed with her own eyes. She drew her staff, and the murderer removed his invisible suit and even his mask. Saruta said, "Do you recognize me? When we attended this school, I was deeply in love with you, but you mocked my affection and ran away." Filled with rage and hatred, Saruta showed no restraint. They fought a deadly battle, each one proving to be an equal match. Suzuki's swiftness brought her close to victory, but she had failed to realize that Saruta's suit could absorb electrical attacks. Thus, her staff had no effect. And as Suzuki began to lose, a man crashed through the window. This was none other than the high-ranking ninja, Kato. Saruta knew that it was nearly impossible to stand against him. He donned his mask and quietly vanished. But Kato was unbothered. With lightning speed, he made a gash in his arm and flung his blood towards Saruta, so that it might stain his suit and reveal his concealed body. Kato attacked Saruta with his sword, but Saruta's advanced suit inflated like a balloon, protecting him, and Saruta seized the opportunity to flee. Meanwhile, Noguchi was still searching for Kurou. She came upon a frightened Ida. Ida told her that he, Kurou, and a third boy had ventured into the tunnels. The rumor there was that a path led to an underground bunker. Ida and the other boy had not been brave enough to enter, but now he feared for Kurou. Inside, Kurou saw a girl. This was Mitsuki, and she was the one who had planned this entire scheme. Mitsuki was far more powerful than Kurou had imagined. He attacked her with a bomb, but in a flash, she was far away, hanging from a wall by a single finger. Kurou threw 2 high-voltage cables at her, but she caught them with her bare hands as if the electricity had no effect on her. Saruta was wandering the school when Shiyon appeared before him. He raised his sword and, with great agility, began to fight Saruta. Shiyon cleverly scattered glass on the ground, which allowed him to track Saruta's location. His teddy bear also managed to pinpoint Saruta's exact whereabouts. He pinned Saruta against a wall, Saruta was only moments away from being struck by a satellite attack, but at the last minute, he escaped. Shiyon pursued him and cornered him on the rooftop. Shiyon attacked Saruta with a powerful blow of his sword, but it was only Saruta's suit that was there, and Saruta from behind attacked him without warning. Shiyon tried to defend himself from this sudden assault, but his sword broke into two. Shiyon was a superior fighter, but the underground ninja's weapons were more powerful, and in this battle he suffered a dangerous wound to his shoulder. Now, with his half-sword, the wounded and terrified Shiyon had no choice but to defend himself. He was about to be defeated, but then Kato arrived and turned the tide. He drove his sword through Saruta's body, ending the fight and saving Shion's life. Below, in the tunnel, Kurou was losing the fight. He understood that it was nearly impossible to defeat Mitsuki because she was far more powerful than he. But Kurou wanted to know what Mitsuki truly desired. Why was she doing all this? Mitsuki finally revealed the truth. She had intentionally spread the lie to bring all the ninjas to the school so they would activate the ninja laser satellite and she could find the satellite's location. Using hacked data, they had indeed located the satellite, and now one of their men had reached it. Their special suits worked even in space. Mitsuki then launched a dangerous attack on Kurou. With Mitsuki's immense power, Kurou was constantly on the defensive. But in reality, he was only biding his time, hoping his friends would arrive and save him. Just then, Noguchi came with Ida. Noguchi gave Kurou the ring that the discipline director had told her to give him. He put on the ring and activated its antenna. A drone then arrived, carrying a sword. He took the sword and with his foot kicked dust towards Mitsuki, and then, seizing the opportunity, he attacked. Once again, they faced each other with determination, but Kurou knew that a direct attack on Mitsuki would be foolish. He had to deceive her and attack suddenly. His invisible suit was useless, as it only made his upper body disappear, and even with the suit active, Mitsuki could still see him. Kurou replayed the fight in his mind many times, thinking of different ways to fight, but each time he was killed. Finally, he understood that he could not win in this manner. There was only one way to defeat Mitsuki. He launched a direct attack with a formidable technique and moved forward without regard for his own life. His sword went through Mitsuki, and Mitsuki's sword went through him. He pushed Mitsuki and pulled out his sword. Mitsuki collapsed. Kurou had already reached his limit. He stumbled and fell to the ground, severely wounded. Noguchi quickly lifted him, and they both left. An underground ninja member had reached the satellite and uploaded a virus into the system, bringing the entire laser system under their control. As soon as he turned the dial, the power level went to maximum. The laser's target was the school, and with its size enlarged, the entire school was obliterated by the laser. The shockwave from the explosion caused the underground bunker to shake. The bunker began to crumble, and the exit was very far away. Noguchi and Kurou tried to escape, but Kurou was badly wounded. Kurou felt that they would not survive, so he took off his invisible suit and placed it over Noguchi. All the rubble was now falling on them. A while later, Noguchi emerged from the rubble, for the special suit had saved her life, and Kurou had sacrificed his to save the world. And yet, the tale is not over. In the final scene of the film, we see Kurou's twin brother, Juro, who, for some reason, had come to meet Noguchi. If you enjoyed this tale, do not forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. We shall meet.